Okay, so we are live with episode 6 of the Your Brain Rebalanced show, and the usual cast is here. So Jeff's here.
Yo.
Chilling out. We got Apeman here.
Good morning, Fapstronauts.
Also chilling out hard. And Spangler.
Good afternoon, Fapstronauts.
Has some great YouTube videos, and you just wrote a book on it, right?
I did, yes. It's called
The dude literally wrote the book.
Literally, yeah. One of the only books on it.
Yeah, well, I felt that I read about 12 books about this, because they are out there, but most of them are from a religious standpoint. And that's great for people who are religious or who are Christian in specific. But there wasn't really a book that encapsulated everything I thought people would need, which is the information about how this has affected people and affected our culture, and also information on how to recover.
Interesting. Did the books on this, even though they were religious, did they, out of curiosity, talk about erectile dysfunction at all? Or anything in there?
Hardly any of them did. There was Porned Out by, I think his name is Brian McDougall, which had a lot of good information, but it didn't really say much about how to get over it. It was like, this is why you should leave this behind, but there wasn't much information on how to do that for people who thought that was a little bit more difficult than just making the decision.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. There was a book by Harry Fish, too, a urologist. Did you read that at all?
That name doesn't strike a bell, actually.
Yeah, I just wrote my senior thesis on porn addiction in relation to sexual dysfunction, and he, Apeman's laughing, and I don't know why.
The dude's name is Harry Fish?
I really don't know if it's Harry Fish.
Is this book called
It conjures up a good image.
Yeah, Harry Fish. What an unfortunate name. But
is this book called The New Naked?
Yeah, The New Naked, that's it, actually.
Yeah, I didn't read that one. But also, Gary Wilson, he's got a book coming out pretty soon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's kind of a summary of everything you'll find on Your Brain on Porn.
Nice.
So I just almost finished reading it now because he gave me a copy, and it's good stuff. If you've already become really familiar with the website, you won't find a lot new, but especially for people who are just finding this information, it's a great resource.
Is it through a publisher?
Yeah, he's got a publisher in the UK, actually.
Oh, wow. Holy shit. The UK seems to be on top of this stuff. You guys have like all these... You go debating it in law and stuff like that, I've seen recently.
Is that I wasn't aware of that, which is terrible, really. I should be more on it.
I also could just be completely talking out of my ass, so I don't really know.
There was a Cambridge study. Obviously, the Cambridge study is still waiting to be published, I think. Or has it been published? No, I think it's published soon, isn't it?
Yeah, it's published soon.
That's still pending.
So...
And a German
I'll try and get the lowdown when it comes out, because I'm obviously in Cambridge right now, so...
Yeah.
I'll get the lowdown.
We got the inside scoop with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so, your book. Who should read this? What is your target audience? Is it for anybody who doesn't know anything about the addiction?
Well, it comes in two parts. Part one is the problem, where I talk about how internet porn especially tends to affect people who use it consistently. Yeah. And I bring in a lot of the science that Gary Wilson first introduced, and a lot of other studies that I didn't actually find on yourbrainonporn.com. And that's also where I tell my story of how I grew up with porn, because I started using porn at about age 9, which I found out isn't actually that unusual. I think Gabe said he started at age 8. I don't know about you guys.
I was age 8. I saw my first porn magazine. Yeah.
I wasn't really logging the dates.
I wrote that one in my journal.
I'd say I started watching porn regularly. Yeah. So I was like 13 and then didn't masturbate till I was 15. But anyway, yeah, that's my story. Anyway, sorry.
So that part, I think, is valuable for anyone who just wants a better understanding of how this is affecting people. And I think everyone in the modern world knows people who use porn, so it's good to know how this can affect people and how this can affect relationships especially. And then part 2 is called The Solution, and that's more for people who are trying to get out of their own lives or are trying to help someone get over this addiction. And I outlined steps for recovery that helped me and helped others. I did a lot of research into what you can do to really put this behind you and not feel like an addict anymore.
Yeah.
That's more than just taking out porn, because you can't just take out porn and think that your life is going to get better. That leaves a void, especially for people who are addicted and use porn to deal with stress or other difficult emotions. Because you have to fill that void with something else, something more positive.
Yeah. Absolutely. In total, how long is your book?
It's 154 pages.
Okay.
And it also, in the back, includes a lot of testimonies and stories from people. I think Jeff is actually in there. I don't know if he's read that before, but...
I had a little look. I had a sneaky peek. Yeah. A couple of things, yeah.
Yeah, there are quite a few stories from people on your Brain Rebalanced and also from NoFap and from my personal life. So I tried to really collect stories that would give as much variety and perspective on this issue as possible. So I got perspectives from women users, from partners of porn addicts, old people, young people, etc.
Nice. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. Somebody just shot me it in an email. I don't know if I should be telling you that, if that's like contraband or something like that, but...
You pirate!
You bastard! But yeah, somebody shot me it, and I paged through it. It looked awesome. I can't wait to read it, actually. All this cool stuff on it. So, what's a little bit about you, though? What's your kind of history with porn, if you want to do like just kind of like a brief thing, your experiences and...
Yeah, well, a lot of sexologists seem to think that porn addiction and sex addiction has to stem from a childhood trauma or some other issues, and that was never the case for me. I, like Gabe Deem said, I had a happy, healthy childhood, and I had masturbated for as long as I can remember. I don't remember the first time I masturbated, probably age 2 or 3, I don't know.
Oh, wow.
But I'd always fantasized about women. That was always a desire I had. So when I got Google, it wasn't long until I thought, I better type in naked and see what pops up. And I sought it out. I saw my first porn images then, and I was hooked from then on.
Yeah, definitely.
And especially when I got a computer in my own room and high-speed internet around age 13, 14, that's when it really ramped up.
Yeah.
And I started to escalate more in the extremity of content.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then by age 18... I got a girlfriend and I tried to have sex for the first time, and nothing happened. Like, I wasn't physically turned on at all, even though I really wanted her mentally and I was very attracted to her. She was a very attractive woman. It just didn't happen with my penis.
Yeah.
And like Gabe said, there's nothing more sex negative than a penis that doesn't work.
Yeah.
And it took me a long time to connect pornography use to that, because I thought it might be because I masturbate or watch porn too much, so I'd quit for several weeks, then try to have sex again, and it still wouldn't work. Mm-hmm. So I thought it must not be the porn, I must just be like uncomfortable with sex, I must just have to really repeat the exercise, so to speak, and try to acclimate myself to being with a woman. So I tried for 6 years with several different women, dozens of times, and it never worked. And I didn't really realize what was going on until I saw Gary Wilson's TED Talk, which definitely changed my life.
Mm-hmm.
Ditto, brother.
So how long did your reboot take in total?
I'm not sure it's over, to be honest. It was on day 72, I think, that I had my first orgasm. And that was with my then girlfriend. And that was an incredible experience. That was the first orgasm I'd ever had with a partner.
Mm-hmm.
So that was when things really started to turn around. But even after that, I had like bouts of flatlining and lower libido and definitely delayed ejaculation. I probably had sex like 20 times in a row, like an hour at a time, and never came.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, so I just couldn't orgasm unless I was like in a very specific position, like prone, and while she was using her hand. I don't know if I'm getting too detailed here or not.
No, that's fine.
I am.
No.
But by the end, I'd say about day 140 probably, I was actually able to orgasm from vaginal sex.
Nice.
Which was awesome. But it did take a lot more than 90 days to reach that point.
Yeah.
I got there last week. I don't think I mentioned it. Did I mention it on the show? I can't remember.
You did not.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I did it twice, man.
In a day?
Twice in a day.
Wow, good for you. Oh my god.
And I was like, shit. And I was like, rock hard, and like erections were properly like just working. Everything was fine. She was like, I really don't think you have ED anymore. And I was like, yeah, me neither.
Hell,
that's beautiful,
yeah,
man.
I don't have ED.
So
good for you,
I
man.
don't think
That's
I have
awesome.
ED anymore. Like I might have. I don't know. You know. Yeah, I don't think I have ED anymore anyway.
That's awesome.
So yeah.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I wanted to mention that just because it reminded me.
A true life success story.
Don't you ever talk about not having ED on this show.
I'd say the same for myself. I don't think I have ED or even DE really anymore.
Nice.
Which is awesome, because for the first time in my life I can actually have successful sex.
Yeah.
Which, if you don't have that ability, it's pretty important.
Definitely.
But actually, for the last month, I haven't had any sexual contact at all because my girlfriend and I broke up, and I decided I just wanted to get some time to know myself without any sexual stimulation, which has been pretty interesting because I still don't masturbate at all.
Yeah.
I don't know where you guys are on that, but I decided that it wasn't for me anymore.
Yeah. Interesting.
Same places, very similar place to you, Spangler, in that,
Mhm.
like, Selena and I broke up last week. We just decided that it was easier to cut it off before I go to Germany permanently. So we cut it off, and I've just kind of, it's been less time, but I think I'm now just kind of going to just go back in, you know, and try and find some sort of inner truths as opposed to always trying to look for external sort of gratification, you know. I don't know. I don't know about you. Has it brought you down a kind of spiritual route, would you say, in any way?
There have been a lot of unexpected results from this journey, and spirituality,
yeah,
I wouldn't say that it's really caused any spiritual awakenings in me, but it has caused emotional awakening in me, definitely. And I've really been more in touch with the people around me. I'm much more social now, and also more in touch with myself and what I want out of this world. And I'm so much more motivated now. I get so much more done. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. You've also started a YouTube series, right? Sorry, man. You can go.
No, it's all good.
Yeah, I did. Well, I wanted to put this information out there in as many media as possible because some people like videos, some people like writing, whatever. So I started a series just to give information and advice about this. So it's called Spangler TV, no spaces. You can search that in YouTube and you'll find it. I'm the face in the red TV.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I just filmed these in my room, telling people about, I think, the most important aspects of recovery. So far I've done a little piece about guilt and shame, and that was inspired by Brene Brown's TED Talk about the same topic. And also a little piece about sharing your story with others, not only anonymously online, but also with the people in your life, which has been really important in my journey.
Yeah. Yeah, you had, I highly recommend the videos, by the way. When I watched those, it was some of the best advice I've gotten. So I'll post a link to those when I put this up, but yeah.
So yeah, I hope they help people.
Yeah.
Spangler
I think they
TV.
do. Spangler TV. I remember when I saw the, when you brought the the TV in, I'm like, this is some top-notch shit. It was cool. But, cool. So yeah, you got the book out, you got the YouTube coming out. Where are you going with this? You almost seem to be like kind of doing what Gabe Deem is doing in a sense that you're both just kind of coming out, putting out material, don't really care who knows it.
Yeah, thing. For years, I never thought I would tell anybody about any of this, at least not until it was behind me. And that's because I was ashamed I thought I was a broken man, you know, after not being able to have sex even though you want to, and not being able to have control of your own sexuality. You don't feel like a whole functional person. And that wasn't something I wanted anybody to know. I was, looking back now, I think I was weak, and I wanted to seem strong. I wanted to put on that strong face. And now that I'm comfortable with myself and I accept myself, I don't care really what other people think about it.
Sure.
I just want to put this information out there so people like me, when they search for what's going on with them, can find the information. Rather than what I found 6 years ago when I started searching, which was, it's performance anxiety.
Right. Do you have any...
Can I just...
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, you go. You go.
Well, I was just going to ask if what you want to make a career out of this in any way, or is it just some sort of pastime? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I have a lot of jobs, so to speak. I'm a wildland firefighter. I babysit, I tutor, I do construction, stuff like that. But I want to, more than anything else, be an author and a speaker. And I want to speak about important topics that will change people's lives. And once I encountered this, I knew that this was one of those topics and that people needed to know. So yeah, I do want to dedicate not necessarily my whole career to this topic in particular, but to helping people in this way. Discover things about themselves and things about the modern world that are more dangerous than they thought they were.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I feel the same way, Spangler. I'm quite into sort of writing and speaking. I write actually for a mindfulness meditation blog called thoughtbrick.com. You can check it out.
Yeah, I'll write that down.
Yeah, and I think it's something very important that we that we address these issues and actually speak about them as people, just to other people, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's just, you know.
And the more you talk about it, the less power it has over you. The more comfortable you are just speaking about this stuff. And even if some people are put off or made uncomfortable by it, it doesn't really bother me anymore. Like, I don't talk about it if people don't want to hear about it. But I'm not ashamed to show people who I really am and the problems that I've had in my life.
Awesome. Yeah. That's eventually... It's going to get to the point where so many people come out with this and are talking about this so much that this... We're seeing, like, kind of the new wave. It's like a revolution right now, sort of, of this topic. And hopefully at some point people will be able to identify these issues because we have talked about it so much at, like, 2 years into it, not like 12 down the road like I was, So, yeah, and all this stuff you're doing is awesome, by the way. I need to read your book, but YouTube videos are great. So, Amen. Go ahead.
Well, for 99.999% of human history, we just haven't had access to unlimited sexual stimulation. So we're really just finding out what this can do to people. And I think people tend to think of sexuality as kind of a bottomless pit. But at least for me, I found out that wasn't the case. Like, if I delved deep enough, I would definitely not be able to function sexually in real life.
Yep. Yeah, I felt that way too. I just could masturbate forever, and I would still, you know what I mean? Like, then that wouldn't have really any effect on me or anything. But
it also affects, once you escalate to that extreme content, it affects your perception of yourself. Like, you start to think, oh, am I messed up? Am I a pervert?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I definitely started to enjoy topics and genres that disgusted me at first.
Oh, yeah.
And I still don't really know what my sexuality would have been like had I never encountered porn.
Yep.
Which I don't really regret what happened, because it made me the man I am today, and I like the man I am today. But it's curious. It's interesting to think about that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Like I was saying, I said this before the show, but by the time I was 16, I was, exhausted so much novelty that a naked woman couldn't, an image of a naked woman couldn't even give me an erection. And I couldn't even drive a car yet at that time, which was crazy,
Yeah.
So, yeah, and the more people that speak out, the better. I mean, catch it earlier. But
yeah, I mean, I've been contacted by quite a few people who have thanked me for telling my story, and that's enough for me, even if I'm not able to make a career out of it and make financial success.
Yeah.
I just want to help people.
Awesome.
Kudos.
Feels like even if you help one person. Sorry.
Yeah. If one person can benefit, then it's all worth it. Even if it's just you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've definitely benefited. One thing I wanted to ask you guys about is unexpected benefits. We already touched on that a little bit about spirituality. But like, some other things I've noticed, my dreams are much more vivid.
Yeah.
And I have way more sex dreams now, and I do still dream about porn. Even after half of the year never looking at porn, I still dream about it sometimes. Do you guys have that experience?
For me, I guess sometimes. My dreams are less frequent now. It's been about a year and 10 months without porn for me, so my dreams are less frequent. But I do still sometimes have the occasional porn dream. But in terms of benefits, I just feel just healthier, more emotionally stable, happier.
Yeah,
motivated.
definitely.
I just feel better. And I'm not as tired, man. I used to sleep until noon every single day off I could. And I don't do that anymore. I can't do that anymore, even if I went to bed at 4 a.m. I don't know why. But that did happen around in this reboot. So, I think those are the big ones for me. It just feels so much better. But
for me, I mean, I post about it quite a lot. What I have done, in that, like, I've discovered my spirituality through this process. Like, it was sort of the start, and then kind of a massive thing sort of started unraveling, and I kind of went deeper and deeper into my line of inquiry, and I've come out kind of a much better and more confident and more compassionate person towards myself and others. And I certainly value people much more than I ever did. Whereas I would have seen a woman as just a kind of object for my own sexual gratification. Now I can look at a woman and really just see the person, just really communicate with a human being,
as opposed to just someone who like, you know, just a kind of image in my head.
Yep.
So I still have little bits like trouble with that, actually, with reality and the kind of the line between reality and real people, but that's getting much better. But that's the kind of I feel that's the last hurdle now. For me, it's like just when I meet a girl for the first time, it's not getting kind of nervous and going back, retreating back into myself. That's like the last thing for me. I feel like with everything else, every other social interaction has got much better, much smoother. I actually feel like I'm in the moment. I'm actually enjoying myself in conversation. And when I get warmed up, even, you know, with a girl I'm attracted to, it's absolutely fine. There's no problem. And it's just being yourself and just relaxing is so much easier.
Yeah.
That's what I've found, definitely.
I can relate to all of that, all of it. But
yeah, for me, like I fell in love while I was on NoFap for the first time in my life. Like I've been with other women, but I never really felt that feeling of true love for another person, and that was really transformative for me. And I think it wasn't only because I was more emotionally stable and secure and open, which I definitely was, but it was also because I had accepted myself and held nothing back as far as things that I didn't want her to know. Like I told her everything about myself, basically, that was relevant. And when you're able to accept yourself and share yourself in that way, at least for me, it really opened up the possibility of love, which was awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
I was able to have the same experience, man. I was able to have an experience of love as well, which I'm absolutely grateful for. I think I forever will be as well. No. So I met a very special woman, and, you know, it changed my life. You know, I don't think it's about attachment to kind of, I think you realize about attachment as well to another person, and that actually you're okay by yourself, but another person can just supplement that, and you can help supplement their life, and it becomes a healthy thing as opposed to just seeping their energy and them seeping yours. It just becomes something that just builds and builds and just positivity, and you just want the best for them, as opposed to when I was a porn addict and I had a relationship when I was about 18, all I could really feel was I just need this person to love me. And I was so desperate about that because I felt so shit about myself every day that I didn't realize why. And then just coming out of that and having this relationship has just brought me out of my shell so much, and just really made me see how good a relationship can be and how healthy it can be.
Yeah.
So
I
agree, man.
I was at the height of my porn addiction in a 3-year relationship with a girl, which was really, really, really confusing. I met her when I was 17 and was still very much into porn at that time, but the porn only accelerated when I was with her for the 3 years that I was with her. So I don't want this to sound bad, but I just was so needy. I can't be sure that what I experienced with her was like love in any way. Like she fit into this perfect box, this girl that I had during my porn addiction, where like, oh, I got a girlfriend, that's all I need. I have video games, I can play video games all night if I need to, and I have porn whenever I want. Perfect. Like and it just fit the box well, but I didn't really know her, understand her, anything like that. But
same, absolutely felt the same about my girlfriend when I was that age as well. Yeah, it's interesting. You kind of feel it seems like it's a quick fix when you're a porn addict. Everything seems like a kind of okay, I can just do that and then it'll be fine, or I'll just do that, and it's like you don't really see the depth of human interaction that is required for a relationship or for anything kind of fulfilling. Even a friendship, I found my friendships were all kind of shallow. They ended up because I just retreated into myself so much, but not in a positive way, just in a kind of really negative, neurotic spiral all the time. I was so depressed. You know, obviously I was suffering from mental illness anyway. I was suffering from depression, but I think aside from that, even I was just such a wreck.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, PMO creates a closed loop. Like you don't need anyone else to satisfy your sexual desires, which I think is really dangerous because we should need other people, not only for sex but for emotional fulfillment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The slew of things that can distort is just incredible, honestly. So many people report, and I think the thing is, so many people report like commonalities after lots of habitual porn use of how they feel about things or how they interpret things. Like when Jeff talks, all the time I'm like, that's me, like totally. Name recollection, we were talking about that in a previous episode. Like I remember names more now. I like talking in the moment more now because I appreciate just the person in front of me. So yeah, it's interesting. It's definitely interesting.
So what did you guys find to be the most difficult parts of rebooting?
Apeman, you want to take it?
Sure, why not? The most difficult part of rebooting. It's just those moments that come out of nowhere where you're faced with the choice between returning to your old ways or going forth into new territory. And it's so easy to return to your old ways because you know that it's going to be, you know that it's a guarantee. It's a guarantee that you're going to feel good. You're going to feel good for a little bit, as long as you can stretch it out for. But it's that choice between the unknown and the known. And those moments come infrequently, and they've been coming more infrequently for me lately. But it's always just that choice, that moment of choice, where you have to choose between sailing into an unknown horizon and hoping, you have faith that something out there is going to be better, but you have no experience of it, versus going back in the direction that you've gone 100 times and you know that it's going to suck later after the fact.
Yeah.
You know that it's going to suck, and you can tell yourself that intellectually. You're going to say, later I'm going to feel like a piece of shit, but before that I'll feel all right, and I'll forget about all my problems, and it'll all fade into the background, and I'll just get to drown in this endless sea of stimulation. But it's going to suck later, but at least I know what it's like.
Yeah.
It's the choice between a guarantee and something that's not guaranteed. And these moments are brief. They last maybe 15 minutes tops, but those are the true, the tests. And those are the things that, those are the difficult moments. Everything else kind of takes care of itself, but there will come those moments where you are tested.
Yeah, the unknown, I was going to mention that as well, so I'm glad you brought that up. Because there were so many times, and I was like, is this it? Like, is this as far as I'm going to resensitize? Like, will I always have problems with delayed ejaculation or infrequent directions, stuff like that? And really, you just have to have faith that it is going to get better. And what helped me so much with that was just reading other people's stories.
Absolutely.
That's why I have so much admiration for people who did this years ago without knowing that everyone else who tried it had improved.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I did try to leave porn behind before 2014, but I never had 100% conviction because I never knew that it was really the cause of my problems. So I would always come back to it. And it would always be like, oh, I'll just start reading stories or looking at pictures, but then it would always re-escalate back to where it was.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I really knew that it was my problem and that I needed to get it out of my life that I was able to reboot without any relapses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the recovery stories are just such an important part for staying motivated at this point. It's just like, one of my favorite rebooters is on YBR, and his name's Barney Barn. I don't know if you guys have ever checked out his journal or anything. But he's 27 or 28, so a little bit older than most of us, but he rebooted one time and it took him 7 months, and he just outlined just the astronomical differences in the before and the after for him, because he suffered from like almost full-fledged erectile dysfunction and stuff. And that was one of those moments where it was like somebody I knew, somebody who had erectile dysfunction, somebody who went on the forum the same time as me and recovered. And I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. You know what I mean? Like, we've talked, you post all over my damn journal. Like, I know you, and I'm so happy for you. And like, this can work. This can work, because we were doing this at the same time, But
yeah, man.
Yeah, his recovery story is awesome, by the way. You should check it out. But yeah, recovery stories, very important. Did you want to do questions, by the way? If now's a good time.
Sure, like questions that people posted on the forum.
Yeah, because you said you had some of your own, and we have one on the thread that was asked.
Okay, yeah. Here's one. Maybe you could do a part on numbed emotions and pleasure responses and how that gets better once you stop PMO.
Ooh, yeah, that's definitely good.
That definitely happened for me. I just find that little things that I would always put off or just seemed totally inconsequential now matter to me, like cleaning my room or doing other little things that help put your life into a better perspective and help you become more the person you want to be. And it really is those little things that make up every day that stack up and build the life you want.
Yep.
And it's so easy when you have porn as an option to be like, well, I could do this or I could watch porn. And for me, I would choose porn pretty often, or video games or other stimulating activities like that. Mm-hmm. And now that I feel like I've resensitized, I can be more engaged with those activities that used to bore me.
Yeah.
Like, I always wanted to be a writer, and I tried to write a novel for like 8 years, and I never got very far. But after quitting porn, I wrote and published a book in 5 months.
That's awesome.
It's crazy. I think for me, what it was just changed the way, like just completely the way I was so neurotic, and then suddenly that just got lifted.
Mm-hmm.
By neurotic, you mean just like inside your head and doing...
Just always inside my own head. And actually, it's a kind of... If you think about it, porn is the biggest kind of ego thing in the world. It's like, I don't need anything else for my own satisfaction, as you say, Spangler, apart from myself. And that's not at all in keeping with being a compassionate and loving person. It's just self-orientated and it comes from a place of utter selfishness.
Mm-hmm.
I think. I mean, after a while, anyway, when you start to kind of really get into it and get deep into it, you're just like, well, you justify it by saying this is positive because I don't need anyone else. In actual fact, it's just such a dead end. It's a dead end road, and once you get out of that, you realize it's about other people. It's about actually just being now in the present moment, and you don't need to worry about the past. But when you're in your head like that, you can't get out of that rut that you're in. Mm-hmm. And for me, the biggest thing I've discovered is just being in the present moment and not judging myself by what I've done in the past, because the past, what is it? It's nothing. It doesn't exist. It has no basis in reality. It's just time is just something that we project out, and our memories are just projections, and what we experience is just projections. So for me, the present moment, obviously that's a projection, but you can get pretty deep. I don't know. Am I making any sense here? I don't know if I am.
Yeah, absolutely.
The future is just
the present.
Apeman's like, no.
Nah, dude, you're making sense.
Are you guys all idiots?
It's like you're chatting shit.
Yeah. We're all
Let's relate this to what Apeman was talking about, which is that craving, that urge to go back along the familiar path. If you're mindful and you're in the present, then you know what this urge is. You can look at this urge in the eye, and you know that it's going to pass, and that if you give into it, where it will bring you back. I think part of mindfulness is not just forgetting the past, but recognizing the experiences of the past and how they can help you shape the present.
Yeah. Recognizing it and just accepting it and being, and just being. And it's like, you don't have to be anyone. You don't ever have to be anyone. Like, this concept that's constantly hammered into us, I think we're conditioned to sort of think, I have to be this person, I have to have this, and this, and have to know this, and have to do this. Why do you have to do any of this? So
that you can get the girl, bruh.
But then what happens when you get the girl, and then it break up with her, and then it's all you're sad again, and then so it's just being mindful for me has got me so it's just changed everything. And I think I wouldn't have been able to get to that stage if I hadn't made that conscious decision. But that was a burst of mindfulness anyway, kind of a flash of mindfulness, kind of realizing my porn addiction was like, wow, suddenly I'm aware. And then it all just kind of escalated.
Yeah, this journey is not really about me regaining my erections. It started out that way, but what it's about is understanding myself and accepting myself, and then moving forward with that knowledge.
Which is spiritual, man. I mean, you say it's emotional, but I think it's spiritual too. That is spiritual.
It is.
Yeah.
I would say that's got to be the most interesting, unexpected benefit of this process. Is you would think intuitively going into this that if you stopped masturbating, you stop looking at porn, you stop this daily outlet that you have, you would become this maniac, this sexually charged, constantly going out and trying to find a girl kind of maniac. And that was what I thought would happen. And I took on this process because I thought it would make me better with girls. The crazy thing is, since I started this process, I've had the least sex I've ever had in my entire life. And it's because this process, I started this inward turning kind of process where you see this void in your life and you look at it and you start to examine it and you say, what's this all about? And what am I looking for? And have I just been chasing all this time because I'm not okay with me? It's been incredibly interesting to me this whole time and this whole process that for all of us, we seem to have this kind of habit of turning inward, accepting ourselves, kind of elucidating all of our flaws, and that in a way allows us to make real connections with other people, which to me is the most mind-blowing part of this whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
So I just want to touch on one thing. A lot of guys, I see so many people on the forums and on NoFap constantly relapsing. And they might have like 1,000 posts to their name, but they have like 1 day since I last PMO'd. And yeah, that really does hurt me when I see that, because I know that it is possible to leave this behind and no longer really struggle with the urges. And I have a lot of strategies for getting to that place in my book, but the most important one is 100% commitment. Like, I know right now in my life that sexual pleasure is not an option unless it's with a woman. Like, I don't fantasize. I don't like do 2 strokes in the morning with the morning wood. I don't do any of that. And I'm fine with that. And I don't actually really think about sex that often unless I see a woman I'm attracted to. And that has improved my life immensely.
Yeah.
And people can get to that place, but they have to realize 100% that porn has no part in their life. And part of getting to that realization is getting as informed as possible, especially like relating porn to your problems. And once you do that, you can get angry at porn and get angry at what you've done to yourself, and then you can get excited for where your life is going. And that's where it really started for me.
It's like Apeman said too when he started this off. Like, a lot of us started rebooting because we're like, wow, I just need chicks. I expect to be like a total babe magnet once this is all done, you know? Mm-hmm. But that mentality is so porny in itself. It's just like a concept of porn, and we expect porn to be in the real world now, just with girls. Like, I'll get every type of girl that I want, and any time that I want, whenever I want, sort of thing. But you can't really reboot with that mentality. Like, it's just not...
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you can recover still thinking that way if you avoid porn long enough, but, like, it is the mentality to relapse. Because eventually you're going to realize that's not what the real world is. The real world is not like porn, but the real world, where you can get any type of girl who will do whatever you want at any time. Like, the real world isn't really about sex. I think that's the biggest thing. Like, I realize it's like 90% of the real world, 95% of the real world has nothing to do with sexuality and what we do, which is like astonishing to me. Once I realized that, goes totally crazy. But
yeah, for me at least, 90 days was the wrong mindset. Because I know if I had made a goal of 90 days porn free, I would have been thinking, I can't wait till day 90 when I get to watch those videos again.
I felt worse at day 90 than I did at day 0. And that's a fact. I felt way worse. So.
And plus, I mean, it took longer than 90 days for me to really see the benefits that I wanted. And for me, it was not 90 days, it was the rest of my life. I don't know if you've seen my counter on YBR, but my goal is reach 27,695 days on October 28th, 2089, which is my 100th birthday.
That's awesome. The day I die. 100. No, but that's it, though. I mean, like, that's totally it. I think putting number dates can work, because when I started, I was like, 90 days, and I'm still on a no PMO streak right now. So obviously that mentality didn't make me fail, but it is unrealistic to a certain point. Like, it's not... So what do you do after 90 days? Just start jerking it again? I don't really know. But...
When you reach that point where you're okay with knowing that you're not ever going to use porn again, and you know that you don't need it to be happy, that's when you're really free of this addiction.
Here's one thing I wanted to ask you about, and one thing that's talked about a lot on this forum. It's the type of what porn does to your brain, because there seems to be like this growing debate between the effects are physiological and we just kind of have to ride the wave with the reboot. You know what I mean? Like, it takes time for the brain to heal and stuff like that. Or we are completely empowered and in control of the way we recover. And I think most people meet somewhere in the middle, right? Like, the choices we make, all these sort of things can help speed along the physiological healing of the brain. Because I think it's pretty clear that there is physiological damage that happens with porn, the loss of morning wood and stuff like that. But where do you sit with all that? How do you balance those kind of like two schools of thought? Because the Underdog wrote a post that was basically like, it kind of was very much in favor of the idea of taking the problem into your own hand and you can cure the problem holding on to it, basically. I guess is my interpretation from it. But,
well, if I understand your question, there's very little doubt in my mind that there are physiological effects on the brain that need time to heal. But there are also psychological effects of porn and porn reliance. So you shouldn't just be waiting or sitting around waiting for your brain to regenerate. You should be focusing on other areas of your life. Mm-hmm. You should be focusing on improving yourself physically, through exercise, socially, through joining new groups, and in the core of what you want to do, your purpose, your passions, finding hobbies that you really care about, and finding your goals that you really want to accomplish. And if you focus on that stuff, before you know it, you'll be 190 days in, like me, and porn won't be a problem anymore.
That's a good answer, yeah.
I think what's really important for people who are suffering with this is not exactly what's going on in the brain, but exactly what's going on in their mind and how they can reshape that to focus on something else other than porn.
It's interesting. I have I was talking to Marnie about this. We were sending some messages back and forth. She said she liked the radio show. Mm-hmm. And I told her, so about the time that I started losing my erections for women, I was 17 at the time, I developed this really rare inner ear disorder. And I went to the hospital, got it checked out, and they were like, yeah, it doesn't happen to a lot of people, but you unfortunately have it. And it's benign. It's not bad. It's like, okay, I guess we'll just have to deal with it. So I was on medication. The medication works, but not very well, and stuff like that. And so I started rebooting. And I noticed that a year into no PMO, I only had the disorder in one of my ears now. And I thought that was kind of strange, but I didn't really think anything of it. Or about 9 months in. And then I started rewiring with my girlfriend, and I noticed after 3 months of rewiring, I hardly had any of the symptoms of this ear disorder at all. And now that I'm close to 2 years into it, I haven't taken my ear medicine in 6 months. So I'm almost completely rid of it. But I feel like, the reason I asked that question is I feel like a personal investment to this, because I almost think that what I had was a physiological reaction to porn addiction, and I don't like to talk about it too much, but
it's hard to really know because we don't know that much about exactly how porn affects people right now.
It is.
This is a frontier. This is brand new. Science has yet to really catch up, and we're seeing more studies every month or so, which is great, and I'm excited to learn more.
And it could be completely coincidental too. I mean, I really don't know.
Yeah, I really don't know either. I also experienced, I had a skin cyst. It was just a little bump that the doctors told me would never go away without surgery. And I don't know if it was NoFap or my diet changed because I became a raw vegan a couple months ago. I've been vegan for about 4 years, but I went raw, and that has disappeared.
Interesting.
So I'm not going to attribute that to NoFap, but I'm excited to see what science discovers.
Yeah.
And I hope that more people do these porn studies. Not the kind of porn study where you take a group of children and give some porn and give some nature videos, but whatever studies we can do ethically.
Yeah. But I just bring that up because I think that's sort of an interesting thing.
Mm-hmm. One thing I think is really interesting is hypofrontality. Have you guys encountered this term?
Yep, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it occurs in addiction where the parts of your brain in charge of that higher rational focus are weakened in this addictive process, because each time you give in to that lower desire for your addictive substance, the part of your brain that's in charge of your greater goals gets a little bit weaker. Mm-hmm. And we actually see this in MRIs, which I think is incredible. And the more you make the choices that you know are right for yourself, and the more you meditate, Jeff, the more that part of your brain is strengthened.
We actually, I'm taking a summer class in cell biology, and we're actually just looking at the physiological effects of meditating, and they are like enormous. Like the tiny cellular interactions that go on when you're meditating. It's crazy. You like have reduced epinephrine, which is like an anxiety hormone. I think it's a hormone. I don't know. I don't really like cell biology, so but
It's hard. It's super hard.
it's super hard shit. But
I meditate 5 to 10 minutes every day, and I wouldn't say that it's had an extraordinary effect on my life, but it definitely allows me to focus and just be in the moment more when I choose to do so.
Yeah.
You can always find that breath.
Yeah, exactly.
Always find that breath.
We're always breathing, hopefully.
I think for me, just kind of being there, and then just not having to do anything, just not having to be anyone, not having to think anything. I mean, and just letting it all be. Like if you start thinking thoughts, let yourself think thoughts. Just let them come, and then they won't come because it's all in your head, and your head's just coming around with this bullshit dialogue the whole time. And as you say, like it just completely, you can just get this sense of really deep peace that. Which I'd say, I'd go as far to say that that's our innate nature, but I mean, some people might disagree with that, but, you know.
Yeah, well, the way I meditate,
I'd say.
Feel free to cue in here, Jeff. The way I meditate is just focusing on my breath and on my body and letting thoughts come, as you said, and not trying to have a perfectly tranquil mind or anything like that, just refocusing my mind on my body whenever I feel myself start to wander. And that isn't what I used to imagine meditation to be. So I think it's important that before people discount meditation as something that can help them, that they research the different types of meditation out there and try a few.
Absolutely.
You can always message me. I'll be happy to respond to any of that stuff as well. I've had some queries about it, which I've responded to. So
Jeff's the pro too.
I wouldn't
He's
say
a
I'm a pro.
professional.
Definitely not.
I call him Young Buddha.
Young Buddha. Except he powerless.
One day, maybe. If I free my mind from all the anxieties.
Are you still powerless?
Then you get to wake up and meet Morpheus. It's cool.
Take the red pill. Or what? No, take the blue pill, is it?
Don't take the
red pill.
I'll take the red pill, that's it, yeah.
All right, we should do some questions. We're about
let's do it.
48 minutes in. So
let's answer our mail.
Okay.
Fire away.
Okay, so here is, we actually only got one. Wow. Bad days for the show. Dark times. Scroll.
I knew something was amiss.
Yeah, I know. We're losing fans. All right, so this is from Dave Mustaine 13. Hi Dave, how you doing? Good to see you.
Hey
Dave. He goes, this is a question for everybody, and he says, what did your typical porn-free day look like? What activities did you pursue that helped you stay away from porn? Cheers.
So
I like the phrasing of that question.
Yeah.
What activities help you stay away from porn? Because that means that you're not just sitting alone, not touching your dick. You actually do other things, which is very important.
Absolutely.
So this question is for all of us, right?
Yep, you want to start?
Yeah, sure. Well, one thing that I did in these last 6 months or so is I started a morning routine. First thing I do, I go exercise. It could be going for a long run or going to do yoga at the yoga class, whatever. And then right after that, I do a cold shower. I've done cold showers for the last 4 years or so this isn't new for me. But cold shower, and then I meditate right afterwards. And that's just, I think having a morning routine, I never appreciated that when I was younger, but it's really a great way to start your day. Just have that structure right off the bat. And then I try to do throughout the day things that I know I'll feel proud of after I'm finished with them. So I would advise against replacing porn with video games or other such activities that you feel kind of bad about yourself afterward for. I'm not saying you should feel bad about playing video games. I still play video games sometimes. But for the most part, you should be doing things that will make you feel proud. So writing a book, posting videos that'll help people, powerlifting, taking new classes, picking up new hobbies, things like that.
Absolutely. That's a good answer. It's a really good answer.
Yeah. taking up a musical instrument.
That's
or picking up the musical instrument that you put down when you started watching porn.
Yeah.
Or when you got really deep into the porn and stuff. I mean, I stopped playing piano for 3 years. Hey man,
Yeah.
He's got a guitar.
Yeah, he's got
I stopped playing
Got a
piano for 3
guitar
years.
within arm's reach.
Damn.
He's on it, man.
That's my anti-porn device.
That's my anti-porn. Want to
Also-
see another one? Here's another one.
Nice.
2, right here.
Also, journaling, I think, is really important
Yeah,
because
that's good, yeah.
as porn addicts, we tend to, when we feel difficult emotions, turn to porn, kind of drown ourselves in the moment there, and forget about our emotional problems. But journaling is a way to actually dive into those and explore them and try to solve them rather than just avoiding them.
But I think it also depends on where you are. I mean, in your reboot, I think later on, journaling can kind of, well, what I've found, and I think what Apeman's said he's found as well, is that posting in the journal just makes me think about it, and I'm kind of done with thinking about it.
Yeah.
I feel like I've figured it out, and I don't need to post, apart from maybe to help others. It's not really for me anymore. So when I do post, which has been rarely, which I'm going to start posting again occasionally, I think. But when I do post, it'll be for others and just to kind of give them an update of what I've done in the last few days that have helped me, and and just how I'm doing in life, because it's gone way beyond just porn now with me. I don't feel like I don't think about porn. I barely think about it. I think about it probably like on average once every 2 weeks. Like,
Yeah.
I really don't, it's not really something that comes up at all in my mind. I mean, occasionally, when it does, fuck it, doesn't matter, move on.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's a good point, Jeff. But I actually wasn't just talking about YBR journals. I was just talking about journaling in general.
okay, yeah.
Writing down your thoughts about your life, what your day was like, difficult conversation you had with a friend or a parent, just whatever's going on.
I actually do that. I should do that. Yeah.
Self-reflection on moments like that are really important. I don't journal, but I often think about something like that after I've had it. So being like, why did I feel that way? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, if you're not a journaler, you can just talk about this stuff with your friends.
Yeah, definitely. To answer this guy's question, my answer is a lot like Spangler's, but I don't really have like a morning routine or anything like that. But I make sure that I exercise daily. I try and be as social as I possibly can every day, which is really helpful. And just try to forget about it. Just do whatever. I read. I watch good movies. I work. I go to class. I study for it. I just do my life, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. That's a really good thing. It just made me think, is that like when you're not watching porn, you're free from it. You're not sitting by a computer all day. You can do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
All these things you can do suddenly that you couldn't do for all these days that you spent just whacking.
Yeah. Choking
just
the
jacking
chicken.
off to porn.
Yeah.
You can just do anything. You can go out and you can just fucking, I don't know, fly
Go
to Australia
Africa.
if you had the money.
Yep.
Anything. It's not, it doesn't, like, do what the fuck you want.
Yeah.
Enjoy life. Go out there and have
Yeah,
fun.
You feel
Work
more
hard,
inclined
play
to,
hard, yeah.
too. Yeah, work hard, play hard, yeah. Absolutely.
Definitely.
So that's like the only one we've got here.
There was one thing I wanted to talk about.
Sure.
Anonymity. We were talking about this before the show.
That's right.
I don't think everyone should necessarily discard anonymity. It's important for some people, but I think everyone on this journey should find people in their life to tell about their problems. Because if you accept yourself and you tell others, I don't really know what people are afraid of, because I was afraid for a long time of telling people. I think I was just afraid of being thought of as weak or being judged. But really, when you are courageous enough to share yourself in that way, people tend to admire you for that courage. And they might even reciprocate and tell you about their own problems.
Absolutely.
That's how we really have more intimate connections with people.
I am nodding.
So,
You can't see me, I'm nodding, but I can't imagine getting on this streak at all if I didn't open up to my roommate in the first week of trying this. I just can't imagine it.
and I've told a bunch of people about this, and I think 5 of my friends have jumped on board, and they're off porn as well.
Yep. Both my male roommates are off porn.
So not only can you help yourself that way, you can help others, and that feels great.
Yeah.
But about anonymity, I discarded my own a while ago, so I'm Spangler, Noah Bristol Ezel Church, author of Black.
Wait. What's your middle name?
Noah Bristol Ezel Church.
Bristol Ezel. That's 2 names.
Yeah, that's true.
You greedy Greedy man. Who needs 2 middle names?
Just stick with one and go with it.
Come on, man.
I've got to. I just want to say as well, actually, because we were talking about it before, I want to say my name is Daniel Alexander Mihai Simmons. I'm from Cambridge, England. I went to university, York University in the UK, not the one in Canada. I've just graduated with a BA in music. And I don't care anymore because it's about time that we start to make a difference and come out and talk about this stuff.
Yeah, there's no reason we should be ashamed of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got addicted. Everyone gets addicted at some point in their lives.
I guess.
Yeah, where's the shame in telling somebody that you quit watching porn?
Or that you don't watch it. Yeah. It's not even necessarily a train. But I just want to jump on this train too because I think I'm ready. I am choo-choo. I am Charlie Marcotte, and I am from Minnesota. I've got one more class left, and then I'm done with. It's basically an environmental science degree, and I am applying to grad school right now to do counseling psychology. I really want to do something with this whole issue. So probably even more important than I open up with it too. But yeah, Charlie Marcotte. If you guys are listening and want to add me on Facebook or anything like that, I'm definitely on Facebook, and we could be friends. Facebook friends.
As am I, yeah.
I'll add you after this, actually. Yeah.
All right.
So
might as well jump on the bandwagon.
Don't feel pressure. I hate. That's what I almost didn't do it because I don't want to pressure.
Such pressure.
Such pressure.
My name is Jack Corrigan. I'm a bartender in Utah, and actually, I'm kind of proud that I'm a bartender because 3 years ago, in the depths of my addiction, I tried being a bartender, and I couldn't do it. I was too scared of people. But I'm a bartender again, and I'm actually pretty good at it. So if you're in Utah and you want to deal with our outrageous liquor laws, come to me and I'll make you a drink.
You're actually not that far. I'm in Oregon.
Oh, right on, man.
Yeah, I'm pretty far away. Twin Cities.
I'm a little bit far away too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just a little. An ocean's worth. But
it's just across the pond, isn't it?
So I guess we all got our names now. So I think for future reference on the show, we'll just call each other by our first names.
Yeah.
If that's okay with you guys. I mean, unless we really have fond attachments. I've actually thought about after I feel completely done with this and successful, getting a tattoo of Fugu somewhere on my body. Nice. Somewhere on my body. Probably my ass, for being real.
You should get a tattoo of a Fugu.
A blowfish on my butt.
Yeah.
You might as well put it on your penis.
But oh god. Oh.
You didn't do this journey for your butt, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
You might have. You don't know.
I think seeing that tattoo, it will remind me of the pain, and I won't ever be able to get erections again after that. That would be the end.
Tattoo-induced erectile dysfunction.
Yeah. So, all right. So, I guess that's the end of the episode, unless we have anything else to do. It's getting really close to an hour, so...
Yeah, I'll just throw my plug in there again. Whack, Addicted to Internet Porn. You can find it on Amazon. Or Create Space, Barnes & Noble, Smashwords, etc. And my videos are free, of course, Spangler TV on YouTube. And I'm not the only Spangler TV out there, which really surprised me. I didn't even check, because I didn't think there'd be another Spangler TV, but there are at least 2 other Spangler TVs.
I just typed it in and I thought, that's not you.
Yeah, I'm the one with the red TV.
Definitely, yeah. Definitely check out, I haven't read your book yet, I'm sure it's great. Your videos are amazing. Check out both of them. I really liked your videos, so, and I'm not just saying that. I've been telling everybody that, so.
Well, it's been a great experience coming on the show. I'm really glad you guys have started this.
Yeah, man. Keep in touch. Honestly, keep doing what you're doing, too. We're all on the same page with this, really, so.
Absolutely.
Let's keep in touch. But, all right, I think that's it. I guess say goodbye, everybody.
Good luck. Stay strong.
Goodbye, Charlie, Jack, Noah. Have a good evening.
Yeah.
Dan.
Peace.
Peace.
Adios.